Hello there. I am Kios, the Ronin Beatmaker, and welcome to a Ronin review. Blue Eye Samurai, Episode 6. Goddamn, that was intense. That was intense. Um, it definitely had that Bruce Lee inspiration going on, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Uh, Mizu she's a beast. That's all I gotta say. She is a beast. Um, this was really well done. The 9 levels, the her facing the various challenges and just kind of getting, torn up one after the other was really great. Um, this was an awesome episode. Let's just jump into spoilers, to be honest with you, because I really want to talk about it. Alrighty, here we go. So, yeah, Mizu, she's a beast, like I said. She finds the sewer entrance. The door has a lock trap. Collapses the tunnel. She gets through, but she loses some of her supplies, weapons and what have you. So she's essentially has to kind of force herself through. And let me tell you, man, the booby traps were great. The the monkey floor was weird with the drugs. And I loved how they got Misu high, and they kind of use that to add a bit of excitement to uh, her quest. I thought that was really done well. And I also really enjoyed um, the animation for how she was still kind of like high, but not really, especially when she took out the grenade and pretty much blew up the floor with the monkeys. And that scene where she like dips her, dunks her head into the water and just screams. That was really, really done well. I have to admit, the sound design for the show is spot on. It's definitely spot on. And what I liked about it too with the sound design is that they really care. You can definitely tell that there's a lot of the attention to detail to everything in this show is just phenomenal, and it really makes it that much better of a show. The attention to like little details, like when Misu was on the trap where the floors came underneath her, and the spikes, and how she used her spear sword to get across, and it broke. Little subtleties, and then forcing one of those last guys to use the head to get her sword for her. That whole fight scene was crazy, absolutely crazy. They they really do a phenomenal job of being very creative with the fight scenes and forcing her to adapt, yet still maintaining her mastery. It's really, really fun. I really, really enjoy it. The humor, when there's humor, it's appropriate, or it's sometimes inappropriate, but you know what I mean. It works well for the situation. This show really does a good job of also just telling a story in a pace that you don't feel is being rushed. Um, so far for me, this show has felt paced very well, where there hasn't been an episode where I felt kind of like bored, or like it felt like a filler. Everything has a purpose, and I really like that about this show. It's very similar to Shogun, in the sense where every episode means something. Every scene has relevance, has importance, uh, the attention to detail. This show really gets that. And this episode, I think, really showcases um, the writers and the animators' strengths of telling a concise and well balanced story while also being very ingenuitive in their ability to create fun and exciting fight scenes. And episode 6 really does a great job of that. Um, and even there are scenes where you're thinking like, oh, how can a woman do something like that? And it's like, well, we got to also remember some women are just built different. There's some tough ass chicks out there. We seem to kind of forget that, you got a lot of people in the red white pop culture sphere who become woke. They become the woke right, and they see a female character that can pick up a man, and the next thing you know, they're screaming, oh, she's transgender, she's this and that. And it's like, well, you know what, there are some just tough chicks out there. That's just the reality of it. The MMA has proven that time and time again, that there are just some chicks out there that are built differently. Gina Carano is one of those women. She is built differently. Ronda Rousey is built differently. Say what you will about her, but there are women out there that are built differently. Ma Ning Wei, that very talented actress, she's also a great martial artist. She's built differently. If you've ever seen any of her films, like Police Story 3, was that her in Police Story 3? I'm pretty sure it was, or even in Street Fighter. So we can't act as if there aren't very strong, capable women out there. Um, and she was built differently. She had a hard life. She had a life of a blacksmith, of a swordsmanship, of a swordship. Blacksmith. I'm just gonna say blacksmith because that makes more. I don't know the correct terminology. I apologize. But she's just a tough person. So that scene where she finds Tigan, and she pretty much kills all those crazed, tortured individuals. And Tigan, he can't miss a beat. He's just like, the entire time, I hate you. You're supposed you get in here. We're supposed to be leaving, and you're going up, and he's just like, I hate you. Very funny. And I love the scene where the giant, and he's like, nobody gets to kill me but you, and he's gonna go face him, and she just pushes him to the side, and he just collapses. Great, really fun. Definitely made me. I like Tigan. Like, he's not being like, him as a character isn't being like, he's not being emasculated as a character, if that makes sense, because the man endured horrendous torture. He got all of his fingernails pulled off. So he's not someone that's easy to put down, and we see that especially when they finally make it to Fowler. And Fowler, his he was presenting to the Shogun's advisor, because, as you know, the Shogun's advisor is pretty much working with Fowler to pretty much create a coup. And you get to see a firm musket. And what I found really interesting was how it just, it broke Misu's sword, bullet to the shoulder. And he is, apologies, someone's fire alarm just went off. He is just a force to be reckoned with. He is mean, he is brutal, he is intense. Um, so I really enjoyed just seeing this brutality from him as he just beats the brakes out of Mizu and Taigen. And there's that moment where, Taigen struck Fowler, and Fowler's like, how are you still alive after everything? Which shows Taigen is not, you can't put down a dog when they got that dog in him. You can't put that man down when he got that dog in him. And Fowler got that dog in him. So one thing that I think really is interesting about it is, like, during that moment where, Fowler is pretty much just beating Taigen to death. Early on in the episode, as she was doing her meditation prior to making her move, she's having flashbacks. She's having, um, just flashbacks of everything she's kind of gone through, and I really enjoyed that. It was definitely beautiful, and it led up to a perfect moment where she's kind of having that flashback with Ringo, and he's like, to be a samurai is honorable, and I wanted to learn from you, and she kind of has this revelation, and she's like, okay, Ringo, I'll teach you, and she lunges forward, grabs Tigan out of Fowler's hand, and jumps out the side of the window into the water. And like I said last episode, um, of course, Ringo was there, um, which was beautiful to see. We saw, as essentially Mizu and Tigan are sinking to the bottom of the lake. We see the shadow of Ringo. Essentially, we know that he is able to rescue them. And like I said previously, I was like, Tigan, he's tied to her now. The princess is gone. Her story has concluded. The only other way that he could get her back is if we find out that the shogun's son or whoever is also was working with the advisor to overthrow the shogun. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out, because it's going to be interesting to see now that Mizu has killed a emissary of the shogun. They can, Fowler and Shendu can definitely use this to their advantage to track her and hunt her down and dispose of her. So I suspect we're gonna see a situation like that might bring the princess back into the fold. I'll be honest with you, as much as I enjoyed the princess, I think her story was good, and let's leave it at that. Maybe save her for next season if there's something to be told. But this was a phenomenal episode. I'm glad to see that Tigan is still in it. I like his character. I love his arrogance. He's a fun character. He definitely balances out Misu, and I definitely think that by the end of this season, we'll definitely see a blooming, budding love between them. They're really not that different. So I really think that we're going to see something really special between them. In regards to Fowler, it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this out and how Shendu plays it out. Are they going to use the Shogun to their advantage to kill her? If not, because she kind of knows too much. She saw the map, so she has an idea of what their plan is. So they're going to need to kill her without the Shogun knowing, because questions might be brought up. So that's something that might be a concern. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how they play that out. I'm looking forward to see what happens with Misu's sword. Does it get reforged? Same with... Oh no. They might be able to trace the blade work back to... Oh god, I hope not. That might end up happening. That's concerning. That's very concerning. So I guess we're going to have to hold our breath for that one. We'll see if Tigan gets his sword back, the broken sword. Yeah, we have a lot to see how it all plays out. I'm very, very curious to see. And one last thing before we wrap it up. This show does a really good job of sticking to the main plots. There's no plot holes. There's no like, well, what happened there? Why did they go that way? There's nothing to worry about. They don't deviate off of the plot and lose themselves in the sauce. They stay right in the same pot. They don't mix and dabble anywhere off topic, and that's what's really great about this show, and that's what makes it really strong, in my opinion. It doesn't feel like it's all over the place. Everything is concise and it flows. And we don't really get a lot of that right now in mainstream Western media. So I'd say another amazing episode. What was the 6? We got 2 more to go. I'm nervous, excited. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. I hope you enjoyed this episode of a Ronin review. Blue Eye Samurai. If you've made it this far and you've liked what you heard, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.